So good afternoon, everybody. My name's Amy. I'm the Employer Relations Manager here at West Yorkshire Pension Fund. I'm joined today by my colleague Mark, who's going to take you through the presentation this morning. So as you can see throughout this week, in line with Pensions Awareness Week, we are delivering a number of online sessions just to give you more information about your pension. So you may have joined us Monday and Tuesday, where we covered the fundamentals of the LGPS. Today is a little bit of an extension of that, and we're actually going to go through your annual pension statement in a lot of detail, just to give you a really good understanding of what that document means. The session today is going to take around 40 to 45 minutes, and we will pick up questions at the end. So if you do have any questions at the end of the session, please pop them in the chat box, and we will, like I say, pick these up at the end for you. We will be unable to answer any questions in this forum relating to your personal circumstances and figures and things like that. So please just keep questions to a general nature that do relate to what we're going through today. If you do have any questions that are really specific to your circumstances, then we do have some contact details for our contact centre where you can give us a ring. We can access your pension record and go through your own particular query in a bit more detail for you. The slides for the session today are on the website. The session is being recorded, so you will be able to recap on today's session at a later date if you did want to. We will be sending out some feedback following on from today's session, so please do let us know what you thought, and if you do have any other suggestions for what you'd like to see in the future, let us know on that feedback questionnaire. That would be great. I think that's it from me for now, so I'll hand you over to Mark. So hopefully you'll all find the session useful this afternoon. Thank you.
Thanks, Amy. So, good afternoon. My name is Mark Morris, and I'm a member of the Pension Fund representative team here at West Yorkshire Pension Fund. Welcome, as Amy's pointed out, to our series of webinars, which are part of a national initiative designed to help you understand how your local government pension scheme operates and the options that are available to you. And as Amy's already mentioned, we will not be able to answer those individual questions, but at the end of the session, there will be a slide that shows the telephone number and email address of the service centre. So what am I going to cover in this session? I'll go through the process of how you can view your pension statement on our online portal. I'll walk you through what the details in your pension statement are based on, why the layout is split into different areas depending on when you join the scheme, and what those details actually mean. We will look at the age projections that are included, along with the death grant figures that are shown in each yearly statement. And as the slide shows, we will also cover the tax limits which can affect not just the pension you have with us, but any other pension rights that you may have. So how do you find your pension statement? Hopefully by now you're all aware of our pension portal called My Pension. When you access this portal, you will find all of your statements in one convenient place without the need for huge amounts of paper copies of your statements from years gone by. I will explain in more detail on the next few slides how you can sign up for this My Pension portal, so don't worry too much if you haven't already made use of this service. So just a quick question again before we get started. How many of you have actually looked at your annual pension statement this year? And I think my colleague Amy will launch an online poll now. So poll should appear on your screen. And if you could respond to that, that would be marvellous. There we go. Oh, sorry, Amy, I think you're on mute, unless it's my speakers.
Nope,
there we go.
It's me. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
So poll should be there now. Have you looked at your annual pension statement? Yes, no, or I don't know what that is. Okay. So answers are telling us that majority of members have, which is great. So 72% of members have looked at their statement, 28% haven't, and just a very small 1% who don't know what that statement is. So hopefully after today's session, you'll have a good understanding of what the statement is, and those of you who haven't had a look yet, hopefully this session will encourage you to have a look at your statement. I can see there's a couple of hands up, so if you just want to drop, if you've got an issue, drop it into the chat and I'll try and pick that up the best I can for you. So I'll hand back over to Mark now to continue with the presentation. Thank you.
Thanks, Amy. Okay. So what is the pension statement? You will have one statement per membership record. So for each active record and/or deferred record, a separate document will be generated. The scheme rules dictate that the pension statement is mandatory and that we must provide this to you within 6 months after the scheme year ends, which is the 31st of March. The content of the annual pension statement is based upon information provided to us by your employer over the last year. Here at West Yorkshire Pension Fund, every year we work really hard with your employer to create these pension statements. It's a really useful document that shows several forecasts that you can use to predict where your finances will be in years to come. It can help you adjust your plans and your approach to saving for retirement, and the pension statement gives you the advance notice so you can make informed choices about any changes you may wish to make. If you're in receipt of one of our pensions already, you won't receive the statement, you'll receive a P60 from us that's related to that specific pension. Okay, to sign up to use this service, using a web browser of your choice, navigate to the West Yorkshire Pension Fund website, and if you click on the My Pensions tab, as shown here, it will take you to the sign-in page, which is also the place where you can register as well. At the member registration section, you'll be asked to provide a few personal details, including an email address, your phone number, and your national insurance number. You will then be asked to create a password and a username. We also have a 5-minute video, a YouTube video, which will walk you through these setup process steps. This can be found on the West Yorkshire Pension Fund YouTube channel. And once you've completed the forms and the system has verified these details, you will receive a password via email, which you can use straight away. If you have any problems during this setup process, you can always contact our customer service centre, and again, their number will be displayed at the end of the presentation. So as you can see on this screen, once you've signed up, there are 4 main tabs as shown here. Membership details, personal details, change my account, and view my documents are the 4 tabs that you will be able to see. The membership details option provides an overview of any pension records that we hold for you, including memberships you are no longer paying into, which we refer to as deferred memberships. You can also update your death grant nomination wishes, view your documents, and even run your own retirement estimates. Now, I'm going to spend a few minutes explaining what these estimate calculators provide before we move on to the pension statement itself. The Retirement Estimate Calculator is a fairly new feature located within the Membership Details tab. It's the 3rd option you can see in the blue square on the right-hand side of the page. And once you click on this option, the information it requires will be the date that you hope or plan to retire, which currently has to be 55 or above. If you choose any ages below your 55th birthday, it will create an error message. Provided you choose a valid date, once you press submit, the system will then ask you for some salary details. You can input this yourself, but it should be pre-populated with pay information we have received from your employer. Once that information has been inputted, clicking Submit will generate a unique retirement estimate. Once you have completed these steps, you will be able to find the estimate in the tab named View My Document section, which is here. You can run as many of these estimates as you wish, but these are just estimates based on the details that you have submitted. You should always speak with your employer before making any firm decisions. If you then click on the My Document section in the blue square, a list will appear. Any of the retirement estimates that you have generated, letters that we have sent you, and of course, those yearly pension statements will be available in this section too. Okay, so moving back to those pension statements you've all come to hear about today. As you can see here, the information included in this generic example has been created to show a snapshot of pension benefits up to the 31st of March 2024, and it will show the home address that we have for you on file. You'll be able to see your membership number, which you can use if you need to contact us. There's also our phone number and email address if you do need to contact us about anything related to your pension record. And below that, you'll see your personal details. So as you can see here, Barbara Smith, an imaginary person, works for West Yorkshire Employer and has a job title of Administration Officer. She's working full-time and is a member of the main section. If you work for a multi-academy trust school, it is worth noting that this area of your statement would show the multi-academy trust as your employer and not the individual school that you work for. Similarly, if you work for a local authority, it will show your employer as being the main council's name and not the specific department that you work for. You will have a separate pension statement for each job title that you hold. So for example, if you work in a school and you have several roles, such as a lunchtime supervisor, an after-school club assistant, and a cleaner, you will have 3 separate pension statements. It's also worth noting that if you work for one of our shared service partners, such as the Lincolnshire Pension Fund or the London Borough of Barnet Pension Fund, that their logo is the one that will be at the top of your pension statement. Moving on, as you can see in this example, depending on when you first became a member of a pension scheme, the information may be split into the 2 different categories as shown here. The scheme types are A, representing the final salary scheme, and B, representing the new care scheme. The term care refers to a system of calculating benefits known as career average revalued earnings. And just a little more, if you joined after the 31st of March 2014, the only elements that will be shown on your statement will be the care pension details. So let's begin with section A. If you were a member of a pension scheme before the 31st of March 2014, you will have what is known as final salary membership. This means that Part A of your pension will be calculated based on the salary grade that you were being paid at the point you access your pension benefits. So let's break this down even more. Some of you may be aware that in 2014, the local government pension scheme was moved from a final salary scheme to a career average revalued earnings scheme. Before these changes came into force, your salary and your length of membership would be used in a calculation to determine what your pension would be at retirement. Until the 31st of March 2008, this calculation also included an automatic lump sum and created a tax-free amount payable when you retired. This method of calculating your final salary pension benefits changed once on the 31st of March 2008 and ended completely on the 31st of March 2014. So in the example shown here, Both versions of the calculation for final salary are shown with a final salary of £25,154 and the length of service up to 2014 is shown here as 8 years and 179 days. This length of membership and salary generated a final salary pension of £3,298.16 and created a one-off lump sum of £2,351.73. This automatic lump sum is only for the period of membership up to 2008. So both elements of your final salary membership have been combined in Part A. The only thing that can affect the amount of pension and automatic lump sum in Segment A is the rate of pay at the point the member decides to access their pension benefits. Okay, so on this slide, the care version of the pensions are worked out and shown in Section B. This career average revalued earnings method is a yearly amount based on your annual earnings, and each year the figure is added to your pension account. As the cost of living affects the value of your money, the scheme rules build in protection against inflation by adding a cost of living adjustment in line with CPI, the Consumer Prices Index. The closing balance shown here is the total amount of care pension you would receive. Now let's look at what this means if you have both versions of membership. Okay, so at the bottom of the first page of your statement, both membership segments for A and B are combined and create the value shown in bold as the total yearly pension. The value of A, £2,351.73, is added to the closing balance shown in B of £4,325.88. And this creates a total yearly pension of £7,624.04. There's also the automatic lump sum we discussed earlier of £2,351.73. If the salary amounts shown on your statement look incorrect, we recommend speaking with your employer as we use the salary information that they provide us to generate these statements. We now move on to the second page of the pension statement, which shows what you could claim at the milestone ages, which range from 55, 60, 65, and your state retirement age. At the top here, we see the highlighted area, which points out the figures shown based on the assumption you continue to earn the same money you have over the past 12 months to March. It also points out that the figures shown have been produced with reductions imposed for the early access to your pension. We will go into the lump sum options in a few minutes, but the main message I want to get across to you at this point is you should speak to your employer before you make any decisions about retiring so you can receive a full pension estimate. Okay, let's look at what leaving before your state retirement age would do to your pension. Further down the page, the current age at which you can access your pension under normal circumstances is 55. However, the government plans to raise this to 57 in 2028. So at the age of 55, this member begins to have options open to them. They could choose to take their pension, shown here with standard benefits. Their pension would be reduced to £6,677.31, and because they had membership before 2008, they would have access to a reduced lump sum of £2,088.34. Alternatively, this member could choose to take a bigger lump sum. This is an option open to all members, and the principle is that if you are willing to give up £1 of pension, the scheme rules will allow you to receive £12 in return. Or put another way, for every £1,000 of pension you are willing to convert into a lump sum, you will receive £12,000 as a lump sum in return. There are limits which are imposed by HMRC, so we will show you the maximum figures allowed at each projection milestone. You do have the option to adjust these figures from the lowest to the maximum and create a lump sum figure of your choice. The same principles apply to the members' 60th birthday figures, with larger figures shown based on the longer periods of membership and the contributions that they have made over the extra 5 years, plus lower levels of reduction being applied because they're closer to their retirement age. And replicating this process, the next milestone birthdays are shown here at 65 and this member's current state retirement age of 67. Clearly, the reductions are reduced the closer the member gets to the normal and state retirement age. If a member decides to work beyond their retirement age, then the pension and the lump sum are increased to reflect this later access. I won't go through each value here, but please do take a look at your own statements later today and get in touch with us here at West Yorkshire Pension Fund if you need any further explanation. Okay, so further down the page, you will find a section which displays a breakdown of the calculations used to create your care pension. This can be a combination of the main section membership, any membership you've built up in the 50/50 section, which is an alternative lower cost option. We discussed this in some of our earlier sessions, but by all means have a look at our website and we'll explain that later in the session if you do need any advice on that. But any contributions you have brought through an additional pension contribution, and any pensions transfers that you have brought into the pension scheme from non-local government pension schemes during that year will be included in these figures. These figures do not include any cost of living increases. Now we will look at another benefit of being a member of the scheme, and that is to put some support in place for your family should the worst happen. None of us are immortal, so the valuable feature of being a member of a pension scheme are included here. The death grant payments are shown and are based on the value that is 3 times the member's salary. This is a tax-free one-off lump sum payment that can be paid to the person of your choice. It can be nominated to a charity, it can be split into percentages, but you can nominate anyone of your choice. And we'll take a closer look on the next slide at what this means. But this is in addition to the survivors' pensions that could be paid to eligible partners and children that meet the criteria. So as I mentioned, this death grant can be directed to the person or organisation of your choice. It can be split into percentages of your choice, and we will use the expression of wish form to determine the recipients of this one-off lump sum payment. You can change this nomination at any time using the online My Pension portal and review these details at any time. Just to be clear, this is a separate payment from any survivors' pensions that your spouse, eligible partner, or children that meet the scheme rules would receive. Okay, so as with most things related, HMRC has some tax thresholds in place and pensions are no different. In previous years, the lifetime allowance was a figure that all pensions had to remain under to avoid any tax implications. From 2024, the lifetime allowance was abolished and the limits on savings were removed. The annual allowance limits are still with us, but the threshold was increased to £60,000. But as this states here, those who have income exceeding the £200,000 may have a lower threshold. Hopefully that made sense. If you've got income exceeding £200,000, there may be a lower threshold in place. For this member, the pension savings for this year amounted to £8,273.24, so there are no tax implications. However, if this member has pension savings elsewhere, they should be mindful that all pension savings contribute to this calculations. If you were close to the annual allowance based on your West Yorkshire Pension Fund savings, we would write to you separately to make you aware. The notes page will provide a brief explanation of the formulas we use to calculate your benefits for all scheme versions and highlights the lengths of service included in each version of the pension scheme rules. We'll also show you the pay figures your employer has sent us. And finally, the segment on the last page shows the method of calculation and formulas used for the care segments of membership. And it will show details if you have any AVC set up and which of our in-house service providers you have chosen. It won't show you any details or amounts here. You will receive a separate pension statement from your AVC provider directly. And in terms of support, I did mention that we'd share the phone number and contact details of the service centre. If you have any specific scenarios you're struggling with or still require some assistance, then please do get in touch with our customer service team who will be able to assist you. Their details are shown here. The slides will be available on our website, and obviously the details are also shared there on the West Yorkshire Pension Fund website. We also have plenty of information on our website about the My Pension portal, so please do take a visit to our website if you haven't already signed up to this point. Planning ahead is obviously the best way to approach most things in life, and finances are no different. So I would also like to make you aware of some additional resources that are available. You can make some, it can help you to make some informed choices along your pension journey. Firstly, obviously, there's our West Yorkshire Pension website. It's loaded with lots of details and information for you to access. But we also have a pre-retirement partner organisation called Affinity Connect. They deliver retirement planning sessions throughout the year, and you can book to attend one of these sessions by visiting the pre-retirement page of our website. So to recap on today's session, we've covered the ways that you can register for the My Pension portal and the options open to you once you've signed up. We've talked about how you can check the details we hold about you and how you can amend the nominations. We've talked about how you can create retirement estimates, and we've walked through what your pension statement means and what the details shown actually mean for you and your loved ones. And I've shown you where you can find out more details about the way your pension is calculated. So if you do take one thing away from today's session, I hope it's that you really should make use of the My Pension portal so you can monitor and review and take control of your pension. And finally, apologies. And finally, of course, it's time for our disclaimer. The information I've shared with you today is based on our current understanding of the scheme rules, but should not be taken as an authoritative view of how the regulations affect you directly. We recommend that you always seek independent financial advice, and the scheme does not accept any liability for decisions you make as a result of this presentation. So thank you for attending today. You're now more than free to leave and enjoy the rest of your day, or you may want to stay and ask us a few questions because we will be here for a little while longer. Okay.